Well, they're the only dairy farm, in Washington utilizing an ancient creature to boost sustainability.
Royal Dairy, located in Royal City, has thousands of milk cows and even more earthworms to put in some important work. I took a tour inside to explain the big role of these tiny creatures.
In Royal City, Washington, farmland and expansive views go as far as the human eyes can see. And if you're at a dairy farm, cattle are all you can see. This is where we meet Austin Allred, owner of Royal Dairy.
The basics of what God gave us and how we can use it better.
Austin is talking about boosting sustainability through crops, soil health, cattle, and earthworms.
Over 50 million worms will clean about 400,000 gallons of water every single day for us.
But to understand why this farmer has millions of worms on his dairy, we have to go back in time.
My dad's a potato farmer, he's an apple farmer, cherry farmer, and then about 10, 12 years ago we got into the livestock. We implemented some ruminants into that system so that we could be more sustainable, really be more closed loop, and really support our soils with less imports, less synthetic fertilizers.
Soil health is one of Allred's main focuses.
If there's an excess of carbon in the air, we want that in the soil. We want that carbon in the soil because that's where it's really, really valuable.
The farm has thousands of dairy cows with new calves born every day. And with that amount of cattle comes a lot of waste. Enter the earthworm.
They learned how to clean water with worms.
Austin says about 5 years ago they implemented biofiltro. It's a system where 8 acres worth of earthworms filter green water that's squeezed out from cow waste.
Essentially trying to turn these big old lagoons that are full of green water into more like irrigation ponds that can irrigate our crops.
Crops grown by Austin's family for consumption and food for cattle.
Cattle's magic stomach, called the ruminant, turns that into protein, and we're able to then digest that protein. And then they give us that poop, and that poop is now manure. We compost it, we give it to the worms, we turn it into worm poop, and we put that back in our soil to then grow more crops.
He calls it a closed loop system that's boosted the farm's sustainability.
To be exact, it's cut our footprint by 42,000 CO2 ton equivalents. These worms are going to eliminate the formation of 42,000 tons of methane from going into the air.
Austin says when used properly, cattle are essential to our environment.
The cow has to be a part of that system in order to make it work, in order to support our soils, in order to build value in some of those grass and those crops that are so good for our soils.
As for the worms, they sustain themselves. They double their population every 3 months. And the cattle, well, they keep eating. It's tiring work on this dairy, but Austin says he can't imagine life any other way.
There's lots of stress, there's lots of hard days, and it's like, you know what, let's be real. This is the best.
For KapKV Local News, I'm Madeleine Hagen.